Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater are back in headlines, but this time the update is not a red carpet appearance, a Wicked premiere, or another round of public speculation. According to a source who spoke to People, the two Wicked costars quietly ended their relationship several months ago, after nearly 3 years together. The important part of this story is not just that the relationship ended, it is that the breakup reportedly happened long before the public announcement, while both of them were still connected in the public mind through Wicked, awards season appearances, and the major career chapters that followed. The source described the split as amicable and said Grande and Slater remain friends and supportive of one another. For verified entertainment updates without the rumors, subscribe to Startline Entertainment. The latest update is simple, but the timeline behind it is more complicated. Grande and Slater were first publicly linked in July 2023, after meeting through the film adaptation of Wicked. In the films, Grande plays Glinda, while Slater appears as Baku, a role that placed him inside one of the most closely watched movie musical rollouts of the decade. The official Wicked site lists Grande and Slater among the cast, alongside Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey, Bowen Yang, Marissa Bodie, Michelle Yeoh, and Jeff Goldblum. From the beginning, public attention around Grande and Slater was intense because both were coming out of marriages when the relationship became public. People reported in July 2023 that Slater had separated from his wife Lily J, with whom he shares a son, and that Grande had recently been reported to have separated from Dalton Gomez. People's source at that time said Grande and Gomez had separated in January, and that Grande and Slater had recently begun dating while Slater was separated from his wife. That early timeline is the reason the relationship became so heavily scrutinized. But it is also where careful wording matters. Public reports said the relationship began after separations. Other public commentary questioned the timing. Grande and Slater themselves largely kept the relationship private, and neither person turned the details into a public back and forth. So the responsible way to cover it is to say the relationship was publicly linked in 2023, after both prior relationships had reportedly ended or separated, while acknowledging that the timing became a major part of public discussion. Grande's divorce from Dalton Gomez became official in March 2024. The Associated Press reported that a Los Angeles Superior Court judgment dissolved their marriage, that the two had separated more than a year earlier according to court papers, and that they had a prenuptial agreement, no children, and no major legal dispute in the split. The settlement included a one-time payment, a division of proceeds from the sale of their Los Angeles home, and attorney fee terms. Slater's side of the timeline also carried public attention because he had previously been married to Lily J. People reported that Slater and J had begun dating in 2012, married in 2018, and welcomed a son in 2022. Later public reporting said Slater's divorce was finalized in September 2024. Because a child is involved, this part of the story should be handled with restraint. The child should not be used as a hook, and the private family impact should not be turned into entertainment. By late 2024 and early 2025, Grande and Slater were more visible together because of Wicked. They appeared at promotional events and award season moments tied to the film. People's June 2026 report notes that they made the relationship Instagram official in November 2024 and appeared together at multiple Wicked and Wicked for Good promotional events over the following year and a half. That public visibility made the new breakup report feel sudden to fans, but according to the source, it was not sudden inside the relationship. The source told People they had given the decision time and careful consideration, and that they had been quietly broken up for several months. That means the public is not learning about a same-week breakup. The public is learning about a breakup that reportedly happened privately before it became part of the news cycle. The timing also lands at a major career moment for Grande. People's report says Grande is focused on her Eternal Sunshine Tour and her upcoming album Petal. Ticketmaster lists the Eternal Sunshine Tour as beginning June 6, 2026, in Oakland, California, and Universal Music Canada announced that Petal, Grande's 8th studio album, is set for release July 31 through Republic Records. That matters because celebrity relationship news often gets flattened into one question: who left, who was hurt, and what caused it? But the verified record here does not answer those private questions. It tells us only that a source described the split as amicable, that both remain supportive, and that Grande is focused on work. Anything beyond that moves into speculation unless Grande, Slater, their representatives, or a more direct official source chooses to say more. There is also a public image layer to this story. Grande has spoken before about feeling misrepresented by tabloids. In a 2024 Vanity Fair cover story with Cynthia Erivo, Grande discussed the pressure of public narratives and said tabloids had been trying to define her since she was 19. That does not prove anything about this breakup, but it gives context to why Grande has often chosen not to litigate every personal claim in public. Slater has also largely avoided making the relationship a public spectacle. During Wicked promotion, he discussed the work, the cast, and the film more than the romance. That privacy is part of why the public record has gaps. Fans saw appearances, supportive posts, and red carpet moments, but not the full private reality behind them. The start line takeaway is that this story should not be packaged as a scandal ending. The verified update is more restrained. Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater reportedly ended their relationship months ago, and the split is being described as friendly and carefully considered. The reason it matters now is that the news closes a highly watched chapter that began during Wicked and continued through one of Grande's biggest acting and music eras. What changed is the public status. For months, the public understanding was that Grande and Slater were still together, especially after their Wicked appearances and previous supportive comments. Now, People's Source says they are no longer a couple. What has not changed, based on the report, is that they remain supportive of each other. What remains unclear is the exact private date of the breakup, whether either person will address it directly, and whether the split will affect how fans interpret Grande's upcoming music. People's Report says Grande is doing well and focused on her tour and album. Unless Grande says otherwise, it would be speculative to claim that Petal is about this breakup. The most accurate summary is this. Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater's relationship began publicly in 2023 after their respective separations, became more visible during the Wicked rollout, and has now reportedly ended after nearly 3 years together. The split was not announced by Grande or Slater directly in the checked sources. It was reported through a source described as amicable and framed as something that happened quietly months earlier. For now, the clearest public status is that Ariana Grande is entering a major new music chapter. Ethan Slater remains connected to the Wicked film legacy, and their private relationship appears to have ended without a public dispute. The open question is whether either of them will ever speak directly about the breakup, or whether this remains exactly what the source described, a quiet ending to a very public relationship